Hey everyone, Brendan Snyder here. How are you? Thank you so much for joining me and welcome to this best of video for the unboxings that I had been doing for this massive Guns N' Roses collection that someone sent me. I've done 4 videos, received 9 boxes of stuff, just a massive amount of cool Guns N' Roses music, memorabilia, a little bit of everything in it. I'll get into the story about all that in just a bit, but if you're new to my channel and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do. Also leave a comment, hit like, all those things help support my channel. Of course, I greatly appreciate it. And of course, if you turn on notifications, you're going to stay up to date on really cool videos just like this, which is a sort of best of video of the unboxings for this massive Guns N' Roses collection. I've boiled it down now to my favorite things out of it. As I mentioned, I've done 4 videos. The person, David, sent me 9 boxes over 3 or 4 different shipments, or at least the way they arrived. And I did these unboxings. I found amazing things, but those were fresh. Right as I got it, I opened them. You could see the excitement and joy on my face and all of that. Of course, I still got a lot of it. But now that I've had time to live with it and I know a little bit more about the stuff that was given to me, I thought it'd be really cool to go back and do a best of, showing you guys my favorite things from this massive Guns N' Roses collection. So no particular order, we're going to dive right into it. One of the first things that came that I found was just not expecting at all, long boxes that contain the Use Your Illusion 1 and 2 albums, still sealed. 4 of them. Lots of things that came in multiples, so that was a very cool thing. But, you know, if you're a fan like me, or, you know, you grew up with them, then you certainly remember the long box. You know, it still has the hype stickers on it, just everything about it, very cool. Even has the price tag. Apparently the store that he bought it from was called Streetlight. I'm not familiar with that place. All of them from that, but very cool to see those again. I will not be opening these. They're just too cool the way they are. Of course, I've got copies of that already myself. Now, the next thing that arrived was a total holy grail item for me. But interestingly, I had no idea that the Live Like a Suicide EP ever came on cassette, but it did. Limited to 10,000 copies, both the cassette and vinyl, 10,000 copies total. I've never found any information that breaks down exactly how many cassettes versus vinyl. And apparently the cassette is even more rare than the vinyl, but yet the cassette goes for less. This goes for like 85 to 100, whereas the vinyl, and yes, one of these did arrive as well. Actually, I should say 2 of them. Like most things, I got multiples of it. This one goes for anywhere from like $250, $350 on up. So just utterly amazing that he included these for me. I will not be selling them. Don't ask. I love these things too much. I've waited 33, 34 years, or no longer, I mean, whatever 87 is, for this. You know, I got into the band in 1987 when I first heard Welcome to the Jungle, and I've been a fan ever since. I started my music collecting in 89, which is why I say 34 years. But if we go back to 87, 36 years that I have been wanting that, and just knowing I was probably never going to get one unless I, you know, spent an arm and a leg. And here we have David giving it to me. So a little bit of the story on David before I go any further. He was watching one of my videos where I did a episode on 10 rare Guns N' Roses albums. The idea being, you know, they've only put out 6 studio albums, so there's not a lot to listen to in that regard, which is kind of not true. There's so much other stuff out there. And so I put together 10 additional albums that I had. They're very rare, but also very cool to listen to when you want more Guns N' Roses. He saw that video and said, man, this guy is a super fan. And David, being the super fan he is, wanted to share his collection with me. Not, you know, don't worry, the guy is not dying or anything like that, although I thought the same thing the first time he contacted me. he just said, you know, none of his kids want it. He doesn't have any friends or additional family members who are big Guns N' Roses fans, you know, to give it to. He's not interested in selling it to make the money. He says he has a good job. He just wanted it to go to someone who is a big Guns N' Roses fan, somebody who would really enjoy it and appreciate it the way that he has. And I assume he's keeping some for himself, because he has mentioned when I've followed up with questions about certain items. In fact, I will go into the next item because of this, that he had duplicates of stuff. So he said he got this as a gift. When it arrived for me, it was sealed. And I thought, man, how could he never open something like this? And I was going to show you what's inside here, because there is a signed print from Duff McKagan in here. And I thought, wow, how cool is that? So this is Duff's album Tenderness. And as I said, David got a duplicate, and that's why I was getting a copy of it. CD in the back, LP up front, and very cool picture book in the middle of it with some cool write-up and everything on it. But as I quickly noticed, there was this, and I pulled that out, and there, right there, Duff McKagan has signed it. And I thought, man, this in and of itself was totally worth all of what I was getting. But of course, I have loved everything else. This is also limited number 27 of 1,000. So I always very much like that down in the left-hand corner there. But I just thought that was really cool. So I reached out to him at the time when I first opened it and sent a picture to him, because I thought, well, perhaps maybe he didn't even know that was in there. It wasn't stated on the outside of it. But he said he had gotten an extra one like that for a birthday or something as a gift. And that's why it was never opened. So maybe a lot of this stuff is just duplicates to his massive collection that he is hanging on to some of it, but realizing he doesn't need as much as he's picked up over the years. Either way, he chose me, and I am so grateful for it. I really do feel lucky about it. And I plan to hang on to this and cherish it, because I too am a huge Guns N' Roses fan, and now I've got even more to listen to. So from that, I'm going to roll into some of the CD things that I got that I really liked. And I understand some of this may not resonate with you guys, but try to think of it from a massive fan's perspective. And if you got that from your favorite band, how would you feel? All right, so the next thing up here is this promotional album called Guns in Radio. 12 tracks on it, and it is a sampler that mixes the two Use Your Illusion albums together. So you get a number of tracks from each one. I think it's split pretty evenly, 6 and 6 on here. Nothing different about the tracks, but I've always thought, what if the Use Your Illusion albums had come out as one album? What would it have sounded like? Well, I don't necessarily think it would have been this, because this kicks off with Don't Cry and ends with Estranged. I think it probably would have kicked off with something a lot more rockin'. But that said, it's also fun just to hear a sampling of them. So I loved that, got that. I was actually listening to that for days. Next one up is another sampler. Guns N' Roses Live Era sampler, no special name or anything to it. It is 8 tracks long, and it pulls out selections from the live album. And again, I like things that take a double album and select it down to a single album. That's what this is. So I was very, very excited. This was one I'd actually been debating on picking up recently, was on eBay looking for it. And then, you know, ultimately said, I don't know if I really need it, kind of a thing. And I didn't buy it. And that happened with a number of these things. I want to tell a quick little story here where I went to Ravella Grooves. And if you guys watch my channel, you know that I showed a copy of Live Like a Suicide. It was $350. I was this close to buying it. And I didn't, just because that is a lot of money. I've never shelled out that much money for an album. And I think about a week later, maybe not even longer, David reached out to me, had sent me photos from his collection, and this was one of the items that was in there. So, you know, the universe works in mysterious ways. You know, I ended up getting a copy of that when I chose not to buy it from a place. I got a copy of this after the same thing. It's all been very, very cool. Next one up is a Guns N' Roses acoustic show. This is in New York, and it does round out with like 3 or 4 electric songs. So the whole thing is not acoustic. It's 9 tracks long, and I want to say the last 3 or 4 are electric, but it's actually really good quality. So it's one of those radio broadcasts recorded in 1987, it says, but very, very cool. I really enjoyed that one. I've got one from live at the Ritz, which is also very good. I didn't grab that one, but that's another one that I got that was very cool. This next one, I was on the lookout for it when it was announced, and it just kind of came and went, and I never saw that it went on sale or that I could get it. And I kind of found out why. Rapid Fire, and then the name of this is Ready to Rumble. It says it's a collector's edition of only 100 copies, so if only 100 copies were made, no wonder I never got a copy of it. But Axl Rose's first band, it's got 5 tracks on here from that time frame. Axl sounds very different. He's very early on. He's not really come into his own the way that we know him, that he became and he sounded and so forth. But having this, and then if you have, which I already have, the Hollywood Rose, just seeing if it's on my wall here for me to grab really quick. Here it is. If you have this, which is early Guns N' Roses, so you can start with this one here, with Rapid Fire, move into Hollywood Rose, and then go into the Live Like a Suicide, and you'll really get the progression of Axl's voice, the band. So that's very cool. But I already had a copy of this. I was really glad to be able to add this to my collection because, like I said, I was on the lookout for it. I wanted it and never seemed to get released, although I found out after the fact it did get released. I just was not able to get one. This next thing's very cool here because we just saw reissues for the Use Your Illusion, came out in a box set, but no demos. Why? All live shows. I mean, I understand live shows are the popular thing these days. So we get the Use Your Illusion outtakes. And as this is referred to, Use Your Illusion 0, because this is early on. So it is a bootleg that gathers them together, but they sound fantastic. I've got a version of this, but they pair up, if there's a song like Dust and Bones, they'll do 2 or 3 takes of it in a row, and I never really liked listening to it that way. This one does not do that. While some do double up, they appear on the second disc, and it might be 1 or 2 takes in a row. But the first disc, all individual stuff, so I can just pop that on and listen to it. It is very cool. So I was really glad to get this. There's the inside, just open it up. So it turned out to be great sound quality. What's been pretty cool is, I'm trying to even think, I actually don't think anything has repeated. I have this on a standalone CD, but I don't have the limited edition of this. I have some of these albums, but I don't have them in the formats that he's given them to me in. So everything that I got here, I think, in fact, and this is, I'm just kind of realizing this, nothing duplicated except maybe 1 or 2 promo singles. Outside of that, it's all new stuff, and literally just tons and tons of CDs, vinyl, etc. Next up, another Duff McKagan thing, Loaded, a deluxe edition box set version of it that features the album and also features a DVD. And so again, I had the album of this, but I had a promo copy. It was actually a burned copy, a blue disc from the label. So this one here is not, and this is very cool. So I get the booklet now, and I have all that poster inside here, separate little DVD, and then the CD itself in a box. So that's very cool. Was glad to get that and have it in this package. I recently discovered how much I like this album. I will say at the time I enjoyed it, but it never stuck with me. And recent to getting this, I was listening to my own copy because I was just back into a Guns N' Roses fest from all this killer stuff. And I have to say, this album here, which is called Sick, really good. I have to say, next to his debut album, this is probably my favorite of the solo stuff that he released. This next one is a bootleg, but man, is it done well. It's called From Nightbreak Till Dawn. Proposed or shown as a Japanese copy. Don't really know if it's actual Japanese issue. What is cool about this is this also has Use Your Illusion demos and things in it. So it's got 2 live shows and it's got a third one of demos. Some cool stuff, all made to look like Japanese, edition stuff. The live shows are okay. They're not great. They're definitely audience recorded, but the demos that are in it are where it's at. So I found that I just loved this for the packaging, but also those demos that are inside it. I've really enjoyed that. And just for you guys out there who saw me get a lot of live related bootleg type stuff, I have enjoyed some of it. I have found some stuff that I will definitely listen to again. And some stuff, not so much. I'm reaching for other stuff because I've got so much next to me to show you guys. This Westwood One Radio Network's live show promoted by Light Beer, Superstar Concert Series. Very, very cool. Love this on LP. It's my favorite of all of the live things that I got. Real thing given out to radios to play, to promote a show done by Westwood One. If you grew up like me in the 80s and 90s, you always heard presented by Westwood One. And if you did, you knew it was going to be a quality live recording. So that was very cool. Keeping on the vinyl editions of things, Izzy Stradlin, probably my favorite member. I've got all of his solo albums. He has 10 of them, if you didn't know that. I think 5 or 6 maybe are a digital copy only streaming. There's no actual real pressed CD or anything like that for it. So I've always enjoyed his stuff. But this cool picture disc for the single pressure drop. I guess there's nothing on the back side of that. Let's see if I can get the LP. I can't get the LP out. Anything? So there's the front side and there's the back side. The B-sides were such amazing stuff. I really enjoyed those that he did. And yeah, I have these on CD single, but just cool stuff. Okay, let me grab this. All of these. So as I mentioned, got lots and lots of duplicates of stuff, but I've got enough stuff here I could start a record store. So another copy of the Live Like a Suicide, 2 copies of that. Let's see, 6 copies, because here's 5 and I already showed you one of them. 6 copies of the original Appetite for Destruction cover that got banned. Robert Williams did this, and some people refer to it as the rape scene. I always saw it as the monster is coming over to, this monster's attacked this girl. This monster's protecting her by jumping over, and everything's going to be fine. So I never really saw it as anything bad, but it got banned, having some nudity in it and stuff that is not appropriate, I guess, for kids. I did only get 1 copy of the Lies, but I did get one. These are all sealed too, which is amazing. 5 copies sealed of the Use Your Illusion album, and 5 copies of Use Your Illusion 2, and 2 copies of the Spaghetti Incident. This one here probably is the album that is the least favorite by most people. For me, it's just because it's a covers album. I like the covers. It's great. It sounds like Use Your Illusion era stuff. But of course, it's not Guns N' Roses. So I always go to the Guns N' Roses stuff first. So those. I got some box sets and things as well. And I got this very cool one done by Wea. So it's a real one put out in Sweden. It's got this chain to hold on to it, which is cool. It's got this pin on it. Here, metal, it's raised. You simply turn this and then top will open. And there's 12-inch singles, 4 of them that are in here. Plus there is a shirt inside this, poster, a patch, all kinds of killer stuff that's in here, making it very, very cool. It's got Sweet Child of Mine 12-inch, a Paradise City 12-inch, Welcome to the Jungle, and It's So Easy. Badge, patch, t-shirt, and poster. All killer stuff there. All right. Show you some other cool stuff here. There were some pins that I got that I thought were pretty cool. This one here, the Izzy missing, like on the milk carton. Axl's famous special shoes that were made for him that he wore in a lot of the killer videos. I really, really enjoyed this Guns N' Roses / guitar pick, not just, you know, one of the loose ones that you get in a box, but a real one from show. Did check with David on that. You guys remember these? Rock and Roll Comics. This is, he marked them for me. First edition. I've also got second edition pressings of these things, but that was very cool. I remember it as a kid, and I don't have this one. I have another one. I have some Motley Crue ones, which they actually reprinted and put in the box set. So these things are very, very cool. I'm pretty sure they're all unauthorized. I don't think any of this stuff was legit, but they became very popular. I just got this, which is, you know, unassuming, but when you open it up, it's Guns N' Roses press kits. So it's photos and things that were sent out by the record label to promote the band. This was stuff that they could use in newspaper or magazine printings. It came with, you know, real typed press information. This is how it used to be before the internet, before getting, you know, an email about stuff. I get stuff now too from record labels. I've hooked up with some, and they send me press information. This is how I find out about releases and stuff like that. Well, it all comes digitally now, but I miss the old days. I miss these. So just a lot of cool stuff like that. And it just happened to also have GNR Appetite for Destruction stickers in it, 2 sets of them, which is very, very cool. So there's that. Let me pop this back together here. I don't want to get it out of order, out of sequence. But I thought that was very cool. I actually collected some press kits like those from my favorite bands. I have one from Motley Crue. I have it from some other bands. Guns N' Roses tour book from the Use Your Illusion tour. I saw the guys on this tour and did not get a tour book at the time. So while there was another tour book from '93 that David also sent me, I really, really liked this one here because, as I said, I'd been there, I saw them, but I didn't get a tour book at the time. I wasn't big into tour books early on. For me, it was getting a t-shirt or some other piece of memorabilia, a koozie, a cup holder, you know, if they sold guitar picks or drumsticks or just whatever they might have had that was a little different. That was the stuff I always focused on. But nowadays, I actually usually skip the shirts and buy the tour books if I can get the tour books, because it's just a nice little document of it. Some cool promo things. This was a cassette holder for the Appetite for Destruction. Went in one of these. This folds down like this. I don't want to do it too hard because I don't want to do it. And then you push in the center and the cassette sat in there. And it says, "Satisfy my appetite. Please refill Appetite for Destruction cassettes. More lies. Please refill with GNR Lies cassettes." And it just told stuff. So this sat on the counter next to a register promoting the band, and it might be like, oh, hey, I do want one of those. You know, it's that impulse buy type thing. There's the Night Train fan club. And again, back in the day, they mailed out fanzines, self-published fan magazines with stuff in it. You know, drawings from people, art, you know, what's the band up to? These things were usually legit from, you know, the bands were involved in them. They would get on a mailing list and get special information, what the band is up to, and it would get put into these things and sent out to the fan club. And so copies of those. I collect these. I've got ones from REM. I've got ones from Pearl Jam. The bands that did them really cool. We actually got mailed cool little packages each month with a special little release like that. Maybe a 45 at the end of the year kind of stuff. Those were always very cool. I didn't know about Night Train until years on, once it became an online thing. That's when I signed up for it. But you still get, when you sign up, this year they have a live unreleased album that has Izzy Stradlin playing with the band in 1991 in London. Very, very cool 45-minute set. And of course you get, you know, pin, badge, other stuff. And then you have access to the online content, but I don't really read it. I like the physical, tangible stuff. All right, wrapping things up here with one of the last items, something I wasn't expecting, but was just very, very cool. A Guns N' Roses toy truck, a semi. I mean, look at that. That is just really, really cool. Not much on the back side of it, but I'm not planning on taking this out because it's just a very, very cool thing. I'm going to have this up on you know, one of my racks here for display kind of stuff. But that was just a very, very cool thing that came in one of the boxes. So I don't know how much stuff I just showed you, but that was a selection of things from all 4 videos out of 9 different boxes. There was also magazines, DVDs, books, some t-shirts were sent. There was just lots and lots of stuff, and I've really enjoyed every bit of it. There isn't anything that I got that I was, disliked or didn't care about. It's all very, very cool stuff. This just was the best of the best. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this, get to see and hear a little bit more about these items and what I got and what I liked, my favorites out of everything. So even if you're not a Guns N' Roses fan, as I said, just look at this from the perspective of whatever your favorite band is, and if you got this kind of stuff, how you would feel. Well, that's how I'm feeling right now. That's how David felt getting it, and that's how other GNR fans watching this right now feel. So, okay guys, take care, have a good one, and until David sends more, keep rocking out. Bye-bye.